Hi, sorry about that. I had no idea we cut out because I'm so self-absorbed, as you know well. My phone has 50% charge. It does seem like going live and charging it at the same time is a little bit too much for it to handle, especially in the summer heat and next to cooking. But we'll do our best. I'm gonna set a 10-minute timer to check on the battery power, and we'll just play by ear. But I don't know where I was in my rant, but you know, I'm connecting all the dots, and it's all starting to make sense. Because when it all started, we were like, why is Swarthmore being such a hard ass about this? And why is the FBI on campus and involved in all of this? Swarthmore initially, before the students got arrested, Swarthmore claimed that its IT system got hacked, which apparently is a common thing, but like this time was unusually bad, they said. So they asked the FBI for help or something like that. And apparently when the FBI was helping them out, the FBI noticed the encampment and encouraged the school to shut it down immediately. And just all of it was sus, you know, like none of it checked out. Like what cyber attack necessitates the FBI involvement? And like the FBI really just dispatched agents onto campus and happened to see the encampment? Like what? Or they saw it online, or they saw it on social media. But you know, yeah, government ties, institutional ties to higher ed places, universities, where the board members are all in venture capital, real estate, investment, banking. There was a whole op-ed in the school newspaper about why it is that the board is all SWATties, it's all alumni, but like why all alumni who work in finance? Like why isn't there blue-collar alumni on the board? So in the same way that we prepared for my live stream to crash, learning to see the patterns and how things always get fucked up or go helps in helping you prepare for what you want to do when things do go bad, right? And at a certain point, things might be broken so bad, like my phone can just die one day, that you can't keep doing what you've always been doing, in this case, live streaming. So at what point do you decide you need a completely different shift in life? And so I think as long as people still uphold the institution of higher ed as valid, we won't be seeing a lot of change, because people are still going to want to go to the school. As long as there is demand for wanting to be a participant in the system will be upheld by the participants who still desire membership. And there's always trade-offs, right? Like if I don't go live, I'm gonna be sad. You might be sad for a little bit, but there's alternatives. You'll find other creators to follow, or we'll find a new platform, or like, I don't know, we all move to my alpaca commune, finally. You know, grief brings it loss and also new perspectives. Because life and death go hand in hand together. You don't just have death, you don't just have life, you have both. There's one cucumber that feels extra slimy. I think we have to eat it today. Probably got a little roughed up and its membranes got broken and infiltrated. There's also workarounds, right? Like I know that I can't charge my phone and go live at the same time, and I know that a full charge on my phone might just last an hour. So I might just need to like reformulate these lives in such a way that I can only go live for an hour and still be able to use this. But to want to maintain the same quality or duration as I've always had it would require me to buy new technology. And if that's not something I want to do, then I have to get realistic about it all. And I wonder how realistic people are. While we complain about how bad the world is, are we actually shifting our lives to accommodate making it better? So I don't know how much of my last rant you heard before I got cut off, but Maura Finkelstein, the professor who got fired, was also like, you know, without sacrifices, nothing will change. We have to be able to like lose our jobs, you know. We have to be willing to deal with loss and accept it in exchange for liberation. Well, I don't know if my tripod can hold. It's a flimsy plastic tripod. Like, I have an ice pack. You know, I could try to... But that might also, like, freak out my phone. You know, like if I have a hot phone right against an icy thing, I'm literally holding the ice pack here. I would need to buy another stand to hold the ice pack here. That's a great idea though. You know? Will it work? Who knows? Great. The Instant Pot is done. I unplugged it. It can depressurize on its own. Secondhand new technology is very much doable. Absolutely. I'm open to it. But there's no way to guarantee that a new purchase of an old phone will allow me to stream without issues. Like my Pixel 6a, this phone, even when it was new, could not handle live streaming. Not even charging and live streaming. It literally could not handle live streaming. So, you know, there's that. So 10 minutes is almost up and we're down to 31%. So once we hit maybe another 10 minutes from now, I'll try to plug it in, but we might not be able to sustain it. And there are other options too, but it would require workarounds. Who knows? We'll figure it out as we go. I guess as you can see with my phone as an example, things have to be broken enough for us to want to take action. Like for me, as long as Gary's watching me, and you know, Karen's tuning in, and I see like 5 familiar faces, and I'm like, all right, people are still coming back. But if the lives get so disrupted and interrupted enough that like not even Gary's showing up, because it's become such a cumbersome task to like go to a new live every 20 minutes, then that would probably motivate me to either call it quits forever or to change my equipment and find drastically new workarounds than just trying to troubleshoot how to work around this phone's overheating issues. So I find that mirrors in a lot of ways the way that we choose to live our lives, even in a time of major pain and inconvenience and injustice, is like, how bad does it have to get for us to want to change? As in, what do we have to lose before we feel like we have nothing more to lose than to do a complete 180? Yep, my phone was totally charged. It's just an old phone, you know, things are not built to last anymore. You know, they want you to buy a new phone on a yearly or bi-yearly cycle. And I don't want that anymore. In a lot of ways, I think it would be good for me to disconnect, you know? I've been thinking about it. Being connected, like, virtually like this is a kind of really nice but superficial connection, and it brings us relief in the moment, kind of like a therapy session. But to actually implement change in our lives, we need in real life connection, because that's the only kind of sustainable community building and organizing that holds. So a lot of the organizing that you've been seeing is all done virtually online through social media, and there's very limited real power in that, because you're still working off of platforms controlled by tech giants. They can censor you, they can block you, they can prevent your content from reaching new audiences, all of that, you know? So you have to know that you're working on enemy territory. And yes, YouTube is technically, in this age of late stage capitalism, enemy territory. Like, Google has all of my information. The enemy has my life in its hands, essentially. We live our lives in our phones, on our screens, and all of this data is in the possession of all these tech giants. So that's the reality that we have to like really acknowledge, is we really don't own ourselves anymore. We haven't for a long time, and we'll continue to lose ownership of ourselves the more we play into all these platforms, which I'm doing right now, you know? I'm giving them all this information about me. I'm just not important enough of a person for them to like do anything with it. Yet. We're blanching some woodier, some bean curd, some celery. We're gonna make basically a salad concoction to store in the fridge. We also have a Instant Pot that is depressurizing right now, that has purple cabbage, a little bit of celery, some leeks, and a lot of hoisin sauce, and chili oil, and a little bit of cumin and coriander. overheating issues applies to the whole world, by the way. My phone dying is just a very small bump in the road. However, the planet overheating is quite a big wave of issues. So, there's that. So I'm gonna clean the okra a little bit. I think I'll blanch it next very briefly after the Whittier is out. And then I can pickle it a little bit. I don't want to blanch it too much. I just want to take the raw edge off a little bit. So I don't know why I washed that board actually, that was dumb. We'll trim off the top since Gary said it was woody, and since the pickles aren't really being cooked, I would like to minimize the woodiness. I was also listening to another podcast called Death Panel, and in it they were talking about like, well, what are the actions that you should take? And they were just like, Luigi is just someone who just did something. He just did it. So I guess at a certain point we'll just have to do it. I think biting the bullet is making major delays in just doing things, but no pun intended on biting the bullet, but apt. Time passes fast, huh? That was another 10 minutes. We have 18% left. All right, well, let's try this. This is our death knell, but I plugged you in. I appreciate y'all tuning in, though, despite all the tech issues. And I hope you guys have a safe week ahead, considering how hot it's going to be all over the country, so stay cool. Single full charge. It used to be longer, but I also used to be stronger. blanch. I'm looking for the green to turn color, and I think that's it. The mucilage is leaking out, and we want to reserve as much of that as possible because that's actually the health component of okra, is the stickiness of it. Same thing for oatmeal and same thing for psyllium. Maybe that's why I wanted to buy okra today, because my body was just like, that is good for your cholesterol. You want that in you, babe. Alright. And now the last thing that I will blanch is our, what is this again? Dang, I forgot what this is called. I know in Chinese it's mo yu doufu. It's like a near 0 calorie food made out of a mountain yam starch. Jelly-like, jello-like, all of it. Well, enemy was the, bitter melon was the enemy because it tasted horrible. Okra I could stand, but I didn't love it. And yes, they used to be the enemy because mom force-fed me them, but now that mom's gone, they've become beloved, cherished friends of yore. So, funny how things change, eh? Alright, heat is off. We are done cooking for today, I think. Let me just check on my fridge. Yes, I have tofu sitting in there, but we're not cooking that today. Too much. It's too much. A lot of perspectives shift over time, and I've learned how cool it is to allow that to happen. Like, mom used to be a very black and white morality person, you know. Criminals are criminals and so on and so forth. And I'm just like, actually, who are the real criminals? I was at the birthday party yesterday, and I got really, really sad, but also happy, but definitely a little bit sad. And yes, those can occur simultaneously. I was just sitting there watching people dance to the music, and I just got really sad, because I thought, my life is so different now. Like, I'm older, mom's not here. Just a lot of feelings came up. And sometimes you don't know what to do with those feelings, and you observe them, right? The same way that I was observing the people dancing, I was observing my own emotional waves coming in. Sometimes you don't make sense of them, sometimes you just let them wash through you a little bit. They're there for a reason. I don't know what reason. But I think it's just processing. Sometimes you just gotta let it process. What's our battery at? 33%. How hot are we? Really hot. Maybe disengage? the hack for right now, which is a Band-Aid, is to plug it in for 10 minutes of charge and disconnect it. Okay, I think because my Instant Pot thing is a little bit spicy with the chili oil, we will make our celery, wood ear, yuba concoction a little bit just miso-y, so. Taking the miso. And this miso has 1 teaspoon is 10 calories plus 10% sodium. So a tablespoon is 30% sodium. So 2 tablespoons is 60% sodium. Okay. That feels like 2 tablespoons maybe. I'm gonna add a little white pepper, black pepper. Maybe a little turmeric in here. Who knows? Who knows? No lentils today. Yep, this is bean curd. Yuba. It's the top creamiest, most layer when they cook soy milk for tofu production. They skim it off top and make this tofu skin, essentially. Putting in some sesame oil. I'll give it a taste. Not bad. That'll taste better tomorrow after it's sat a little bit. And then here I have my quart container of quinoa, so we'll finish eating this now. By adding in our Whittier, a little bit of yuba, some of our cognac. I've remembered the name. This is cognac. I'm gonna flavor it with a little bit of gochujang for spice. Gonna chop up this cucumber, and I guess this leek that somehow didn't make it into our Instant Pot that I just found. Wow, could have sworn I saw my vinegar jam container. Oh, here it is. A little bit of balsamic still left in this lemon jam jar, remember? We'll get that in there. Scrape out the lemon jam. It's like ultra clean out mode. Okay. And my favorite, a little bit of nutritional yeast. been trying to use up this Icelandic kelp, so we'll add that into. And a dash of my really ultra fine ground red yeast rice, which I regret grinding finely because it adds such a soily taste, but here we are. I'm gonna mix it up in our quart container. I'm gonna check the fridge for any last remnants that we should be using up this week. Ooh, sorry guys, I forgot to tell you, I caved and I bought some dairy products, so I will be adding some cottage cheese in here for protein. I was tasked with photographing a yogurt thing for the newsletter, and I just could not resist buying dairy, so I caved this week. But I got 2% milk fat cottage instead of 4%, so there's that. Checking on the battery power, we're at 9%. I'm plugging you in to see if we can get a little more juice out of this run. But yes, this is my trash salad. Real trash, real food. That's a tagline for something, somewhere, somehow. I got some 2% yogurt, I got some fat-free yogurt, and I got some cottage cheese. And honestly, my body was just kind of like going through some serious withdrawals. And this might be TMI, but I know most of you who are still watching me on this potato quality live stream are in for the TMIs. Ever since I started this kind of mostly vegan diet for my cholesterol experiment, I have had way longer period cycles. Like, it's been running about 10 days to a week to 10 days late every month. So I have a feeling that the decrease in fat intake is affecting my hormones potentially. So it's kind of like a, what problem do you want to get rid of today in exchange for a problem that will come in tomorrow? Because I've actually struggled with my menstrual cycle ever since I got it as a teenager, and it's really tied to my weight, actually. So my weight and my diet and my exercise is tied to cholesterol and also hormones. And it's just like, when you try to fix one thing, the other thing goes out of whack. But anyway, I figured a little dairy won't hurt. So cheers. Here's my disgusting Sunday leftover new stuff salad with cottage cheese and gochujang. That gochujang is so good. All right, in terms of our okra pickle, I'm gonna try to fit it in this jar. I don't know if we'll succeed, but I'm gonna try it. Yes, there is sugar in gochujang. And I just noticed that the purple okra actually disappeared. The color disappeared in the blanch. It's still got like a purple tint blush to it, but it's mostly green now. Okay, that was quite a nice fit. So I'm gonna use a little bit of vanilla sugar. Actually, no. I will not use vanilla. I want to use a little bit of honey. Yes? Honey, maybe? Where are you, honey? Smoked honey. My elbow is so weak, y'all. Oh, it hurts. Everything hurts. Okay. Then a little scooch of sea salt, maybe half a teaspoon. And then some cheap ass white vinegar. Use it for cleaning, use it for drinking. Great for vinegar, not for bleach. Okay. Let me try this blanched okra. Look at that. Look at that slime. Oh god. Whoever recommended a blanch before the pickling, genius, absolutely fantastic idea. Thank you so much. Okay. Wow, that okra is slick on my knife. It is congealed on my knife.